The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation, because you are now tuned in to The Blueprint.
Why the actions contradict the lamb. I'm fellowshipping when I'm with the fam. That's more relations, that's forming a phonic.
Good evening. And good evening and welcome back to the Blueprint Podcast. Thank you. I'm excited for another week, making some adjustments here because tonight's guest had an emergency at the last minute, family emergency at the last minute. And so Richard Dauphin is not going to be on the Blueprint tonight, but we have some we're going to have some interesting guests coming on because one person and we are praying for Richard's whatever his family emergency is. We're praying for him and his family, and we're praying that everything is going to be well. We believe everything is going to be well, and we just send up our prayers for him and his family tonight. But Richard Dauphin won't be on the Blueprint tonight, but the Blueprint will move forward. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. Of course, we called up a few people, and the Blueprint is the Blueprint. I mean, we call people on to have a discussion, and we call to talk about whatever issues or situations going on. But we're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's put it that way. We're gonna have a really, really good time tonight. I call in between me and my wife, we call in a few friends, and we're gonna talk about some different things. But I want to welcome you to the Blueprint Podcast. And again, I want to say up front, thank you. I want to say thank you and share my appreciation between me and my team. Appreciation for your support of the Blueprint Podcast each and every week. Man, we love you guys, man. And it is my honor and privilege for me to do my due diligence each and every week to research my guests, to be prepared for the show each and every week, to have a wonderful conversation with individuals, and hopefully, not hopefully, but I believe, as we talk about the pebble in the pond, the ability to drop a pebble in the pond and get a ripple effect. So we believe tonight's going to give a ripple effect, because, things like this happen. I've learned over the years not to stress. As a former professional basketball player, I had to learn from the very beginning stages of my career, right, that always in the game of life, and in particularly for me in the game of basketball, right, is about making adjustments and how quickly you can make those adjustments, and not let what the issues or what was happening during the course of the game impact your goal, impact your purpose, right? Because the purpose of for me and for my team was to win the game. I mean, injuries happen, foul trouble happens, turnovers happen, coach takes you out the game, all those things happen, right? But the thing is, you learn to make an adjustment because the ultimate goal is to get good results, or ultimate goal is to win, right? And so the same thing here for the Blueprint Podcast. People have things like this happen all the time, and they make adjustments. So we will too. So, so let me, say, let's get right into this thing right now, and let's have some fun tonight. I want to start off with my book of the week. Yeah, my book of the week. I Am Restored by Lecrae. I want to show you this little video. I've gotten several of Lecrae's books. Of course, I love his music. He's an amazing. He has an amazing testimony. He's overcome some things in his life. So check this out. Check this video out. Again, I don't own the rights to the video, but I want to, I just love him and what he's about. And so I want to share his new book with you.
What's going on, everybody? I'm super excited today. Today I'm excited because I get to show you all something that I think will greatly encourage you, greatly benefit you, bless your life. Many of you know I wrote this book, I Am Restored, How I Lost My Religion But Found My Faith. Phenomenal story here about how God has just done an incredible work in my heart, mind, soul. But it's more than that. It's also my journey through mental health, my journey through issues of race in America, and how to navigate all of those particular pieces. On top of that, I'm excited because I also have the curriculum that goes with the book right here for y'all, so y'all can begin to do this together. I wish I had the tools and the insight to be able to clearly walk through trauma and struggles in order to find some restoration, and I didn't have it, so I wanted to create what I didn't have. And now those people who are wondering and wishing they had something, it's right here for you. So right here is the study guide. Of course, the study guide goes well with the book. So you got the book, you got the study guide, and then of course the DVD. Now, I know some of y'all don't have DVD players, or you don't even know what a DVD player is. It's available for streaming as well, but we have the DVD here for those who need the physical copy. Maybe you want to put this in your Xbox or your PS5 and just grow some. The book, of course, is a detailed story, writing it down. But the curriculum and the study guide walks you through these scenarios, takes you to some of the actual areas where I'm experiencing things and where transformation and changes happen, and allows you all to just have a dialogue with me. It's conversational, man. We're just talking about what's happening, what's going on. Learn how life has thrown me for a loop and how it's all been restored in a beneficial way. So I'm excited for y'all. Obviously, you don't need to read the book to go through all of this. It's still beneficial even if you never read the book. If you just want to bypass the book and jump right into the curriculum and the sessions, do that. But you're going to love it, and then you're going to want to come around and get the book. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. And, it's different sessions, right? We've got me facing the turmoil, confronting the chaos, discovering hope, and then learn how to walk in the light. And, man, when I tell you, really, really transformational stuff happening here. It's not like, yeah, it was real dark and then it got light. It's like, nah, I'm going to take you in the trenches.
Yeah, that's Lecrae's new book, I Am Restored. And it says from how he lost his religion and found his faith. I mean, that's just a powerful piece. And I didn't actually get the book yet. I was just looking at books that I was interested in, and I was kind of basing it on, my guest this evening. And I found Lecrae's book because I've already had a book from him, and it's just, and I actually bought it for my youngest son, Isaiah. I bought the audio book for him. We were traveling one day, and I'm in the Christian bookstore, and I saw the book. I said, oh, this would be a good read for my son. And of course he read the book and he listened to the audio, and it was, he enjoyed it. He enjoyed it a lot. And so Lecrae can really relate to particularly a certain age group that needs to see a visible person in their age category who's has a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, who's gone through some things, right, and still holding on to his faith. So that, powerful book, I Am Restored, Lecrae. Make sure you get a copy of it. And I think it's going to, that the teaching, the teaching that he has on there is going to be powerful too. I like that, to be able to listen audio or look at the DVD, or, like he said, you can stream it as well, and then look at the study guide and then do a whole study on it. I think it's fantastic. So That's my book of the week by Lecrae. And then here's my word of the week. And, something that happened last week when my good friend Alvin from Alvin and Friend was on. We were talking about this word, this how powerful this word was, and how the the one thing we loved about Alvin and Friends, right, was yes, nice atmosphere, good music. The ambiance was just amazing. And then me and my wife is sitting there, and all of a sudden, we had never really met Alvin. And he walks over and says, "Hello, my name is Alvin, and I'm the owner of the restaurant. And I just wanted to greet you guys and ask you if I could do anything for you." And I just thought that was, between me and my wife, we just thought that was good. That was this week's word is hospitality, right? And so I have this video I want to show you, because I want, sometimes I could say the word, but I think that if you're trying to grow a religion, if you're trying to build a business, if you're trying to start a restaurant, hospitality has to be one of your major foundations in growing. If you're a young pastor, or you're a pastor that's trying to find a new wave, sometimes, man, what happens in church, right? The thing that happens in church, man, is that God gives us a wave. We catch that wave, right? And then all of a sudden, the wave doesn't last for eternity. The wave comes, like when you surfing, the wave comes, and then you got to search for another wave, right? And so now, when the wave goes, some people just kind of go in with the wave, and they try to sustain, on the board, or in business with the same wave they caught a long time ago, and it's gone, and so you got to get back on your surfboard, right? You got to paddle back out, and you got to wait and find another wave, and you got to jump on it, right? And that's the way it is. That's the way God is. Sometimes the wave doesn't last. Sometimes it lasts a while, but the wave will always dissipate. It would always disappear, because there's always something new coming, right? There's always a new idea, always a new thought, right? So I say, check out this video. Intently, please check it out intently, and listen to what he's saying, right? Because I think we have lost a lot of what he's saying. You know what I think we lost? We've lost some of the things that at least my parents tried to teach me when I was younger. Common courtesy, right? Tried to teach me manners. Yes, sir. No, sir. Excuse me. Yes, ma'am. All those types of things, man, I think are so important as we go into the future. As we move forward, sometimes we got to go back, right? And we got to bring some of those things that work in the past and bring them back forward, so we can find some common ground through common courtesy. So check this video out. Hope you enjoy it. We don't own the rights to it, but check it out anyway.
I think that people who think that hospitality is just for restaurants are completely missing the boat. I think hospitality is probably the single most powerful business strategy that doesn't get taught nearly enough in business school. What we've learned in our business is to understand that service and hospitality are completely different topics. Hospitality is a dialogue. If you feel like I'm on your side, hospitality is present. If you think I did something for you, hospitality is present. If you think I'm customizing an experience for you, hospitality is present. We believe that the way you make people feel is what they remember more than anything. If you're going to provide the most powerful, sustainably lasting hospitality experience, believe it or not, we've learned you have to put your customers second. And that's not something I was ever taught growing up. I was always taught the customer's always first, the customer's always right. What we've learned is the best way to make the most customers happy is to make sure that the people who come to work in your organization are having a great experience coming to work. I think customers are expert at reading, is your staff focused on their work and are they having fun with each other? And if those two things are present, I can almost guarantee you a great customer experience. What we've been able to do in terms of hiring employees is to hire people 49% for their technical skills. You can be the best cook in the world or the best sommelier in the world, and we don't want you on this team unless you have the 51% emotional skills that lead to somebody who's got what we call a high hospitality quotient, a high HQ. And the 51% skills generally add up to somebody whose greatest pleasure in the world, having nothing to do with how good they are at their job, but whose natural wiring says it matters to me to make people feel better. And we've been able to identify what those 6 emotional skills are that are always present in somebody who's a 51%er. Kindness, optimism, work ethic, curious intelligence, empathy, self-awareness, and integrity. We have an expression around here which is always be collecting dots so you can always be connecting dots. There's absolutely no excuse not to know who you're talking to and not to know what's important to that person. And in order to do that, I've got to be collecting dots. We have search engines, we have databases, we have all kinds of opportunities to know who's here, who are they dining with, when did they last eat here, what did they order, what were we talking about, and we keep notes on all of that stuff. And then we put those connections to use for people that make them feel that this is a customized experience just for them. Gramercy Tavern is 21 years old and remains New York's #1 favorite restaurant in the Zagat survey. And we're really proud of that. I think that when someone says that you are their favorite version of anything, they're paying you the absolute highest compliment they can pay you. No one said Gramercy Tavern is the best restaurant. No one said Lexus is the best car. We'd like to think we are, and you'd like to think you are. But if somebody says, this is my favorite, that's inarguable. Nobody can say, no, it's not your favorite. And if I say Lexus is my favorite car, it wouldn't be my favorite if it also didn't provide an emotional connection that made me feel awesome. We have competitors out there who actually have higher food scores than we have. And we have a higher favorite rating. We have competitors who have even a higher service score. You know, their waiters wear tuxedos and they do a beautiful job of saucing the fish next to your table, etc. And we have a higher favorite score. So this is not an excuse not to constantly work on our performance. But I think the sum of our performance plus the hospitality experience leads people to say, there's just nowhere I'd rather do business. We're in a day and age with the internet where every good new idea we have, if it's truly a good idea, gets copied. And the shelf life of innovation is, you know, it's probably about 5 seconds today. Nobody can take out their smartphone and take a picture of an act of hospitality. They can't take a picture of how you made my heart feel. And so, yes, we're gonna keep innovating. Yes, we're gonna keep performing at our maximum capacity, but we're gonna go to town on the stuff that you cannot copy from us. I tell our team here all the time, you think you're in the restaurant business? Forget about it. This is just a box. It's a hospitality box. That's the advice I would give any business, is put it out of your mind that you're selling a car. You're selling happiness, and you're selling emotional comfort. And if you can understand who I am and what my sign says when I walk in, where else am I gonna go?
Awesome. And that's my word of the week, hospitality, right? It started last week, but I wanted to reiterate how important it is to be hospitable, to care for people, to treat people good, to treat people right, you know, to develop relationships, to meet people's needs. Man, hospitality is just such a powerful, powerful, powerful word. That's why we go back to Disney, right? Yeah, we love, you know, Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse and Minnie, but man, there's something that says about hospitality when you walk in Disney. And I remember my wife and I was celebrating one of our anniversaries. We was in Punta Cana at the Hard Rock Cafe. And as soon as we came in, they said, "Welcome home." Right. And and when we were finished, they said, "We will see you again real soon at home." And I mean, it's just powerful how hospitality is. And so, let me move on from my word of the week and let me jump over into my affirmation. Right. I mean, this is my affirmation. It says, "We stand fully identified in the new creation, renewed in knowledge according to the pattern of the exact image of our creator." And that's 1 Corinthians 3:10. Right. We are definitely in the image of our creator. And that's a powerful thing. So, and here's our music and movie of the week. Right. And of course, this was my guest this evening, Rich Dauphin, Family Matters. And we wish him well. And I'm sure he'll be back on soon. But he had a new album out called The Vanguard Talk. Gospel rapper, Christian rapper, however they identify. But I have the album. Really, really powerful piece, man. I appreciate it. And then the movie of the week is I Can Only Imagine. Man, we all know the song, but we don't know the message behind the story behind the song. And I got a chance to rewatch it again this week when I was at home. And just a powerful movie. That's my music of the week and my movie of the week. And I think I have some quick shout outs. Right now, my person of the week, Lauryn Hill. I mean, for me, I remember her in Sister Act, and just a tremendous, gifted, talented entertainer. And man, she can just can sing, just amazing. And that's my person of the week. And let's keep rolling, man. Oh, we want to say happy first anniversary to my youngest daughter, Sherelle, and her husband, Steve, right, who celebrated their first wedding anniversary on June 6th, right? June 9th, right? And, hey, they did some amazing things in 1 year. In 1 year, man, they got married and had a child, before it was all up. I mean, just amazing to have another grandchild, and she's in the house with us, man. It's just been good, man, to be, Pop and Gigi, right? And we just keep growing, right? Right now we got 5, and we're enjoying we're enjoying every one of them. We enjoy every single one of them, man. And being grandparents is wonderful, right? And exciting. So congratulations to them on year number 1. And I want to say happy birthday to Robin Hines Pina. And Robin, woo, man, I remember Robin when she was little. She's a grown woman, got 3 kids. I can't believe it, man. All my nieces are just growing up. I mean, I don't feel older, man. I guess somebody told me they was turning 65. Man, I'm getting older. I said, nah, man, you getting seasoned, right? Thinking of us being seasoned, right? But it's all good. We still here. And then we also want to say happy birthday to Larry Graham, my cousin Larry Graham. Yeah, Larry's always on the blueprint, man. Each and every week he's always saying, man, thank you, cuz, man. Enjoyed the show. Great show. Yeah. So Larry, I want to say thank you for your support of the blueprint. And I want to wish you a happy birthday. And I hope you enjoyed it immensely. All right. I think we good. Is it? Unless we got some more shout outs. Let's get rolling. We got Pastor Damon Cannon on, and man, we want to have him jump on, right now. And Pastor, how you doing? I think you got to unmute yourself there.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah,
Good.
man. Thank you for jumping on. Hey, you never know with how stuff goes. I'm not the only one that somebody. I don't say that they canceled. I'm saying like they had an emergency, nothing you can do about it. Making adjustments. That's how the game of life is played. This is how the game of basketball is played, man. Somebody ain't playing well. You got to get a substitute, man.
That's right. Got to make those second half adjustments, right?
That's right. You do. So, real quick, kind of want to focus on, because one of the things you probably don't see it around the screen anymore because we made some adjustment to the screen. But one of the things about the blueprint that I think is important in terms of the guests is that most of them are in a sphere of influence, right? Whether it's, in the church, you see that right there, you got the church, you got sports, arts and entertainment, you got business and finance, you got government and law, you got media, right? And you got family and education, you got health, right? Most of us find ourselves to be gifted in more than one of these things.
True.
Right. And so the blueprint, tonight I want to ask you a question around sports and ministry.
Okay.
Right. So and you associated with the WABA.
That's right.
Right. And of course, my good friend Marsha Blunt.
Right.
Who's the creator, right? The creator of the WABA. And you're part of the Midwest. I like it, Midwest Sound.
Right.
The Women's Professional Basketball League. And then my wife is the owner of the Shamrocks here in Mount Vernon. And what piqued your interest about doing this? Because let me say this before you answer that, because I grew up in a time, right? I'm not going to try to date myself or nothing, but, I grew up in a time where, most churches didn't believe in sports and ministry. Right. So there was a whole lot of stuff we couldn't do. So, but
you wouldn't even saved if you did all that stuff.
That's right, man. And don't read out of a red Bible,
Right.
Right. So, and now we find out, how important it is, that we influence every sphere of influence. So talk to me a little bit about this combination of sports and ministry and how you got involved.
We were just talking about this a little bit this morning in worship, about how we're supposed to bear fruit in whatever setting, in whatever sphere, I'll use your language, that we're in. We're supposed to bear fruit. And so by nature, I'm a sports fanatic. I was a football guy. I think we talked about that previously, that I was a football player, but I loved every area of sports. And I think wherever we are, it's important that our ministry life is really who we are. It's not something we do in a certain setting. It's who we are. And it should transfer to wherever we are. And sports, that platform gives us the opportunity to reach people on that level, gives us the opportunity to connect to people in that sphere that are otherwise not coming to our church. But then the basketball court becomes our church. The football field becomes our church. The baseball diamond becomes our church. The chess table becomes our church. And that's where we should do ministry in whatever it is that we're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. And, you can't close off because the enemy is not closed to any of those venues. He attacks all the venues. I mean, to keep you from getting to that sphere of the church, getting people to the church. He's trying to prevent that and, trying to keep people from all of those other spheres from getting there.
Right. And even more, let's say, not just keeping people from getting to the church, but keeping the church from getting the people. You know, we should be the one that are active in doing the outreach portion of that. So are we getting to the ground level where there's people that we're trying to reach? And you know this from being a pro athlete. Sometimes we as a church tend to target people that seem to be less fortunate. We tend to target people that, quote unquote, have problems. But there are people that are very successful in life in other spheres, but they still lack that spiritual part that they need. They still need Christ, to make it real plain. They still need Jesus in their life. They still need the connection with God that's broken, even though they're very successful in another arena. So for what we're speaking of basketball players, male and female, they still need Christ. And sometimes just on a very base level, they're just having struggles in life and they need some guidance and direction to help them to get there.
Yeah. And you're right. Because, I mean, I guess the MO of the church, in the past is to find the sinner, right? To find those who are lost. Well, and as you stated, we only look at the people, who are hurting in the, in lower communities,
right?
We think or not that, it doesn't apply to a professional athlete. It doesn't apply to an entertainer. It doesn't apply to somebody who's a billionaire or millionaire.
True.
Right. And the reality is that we all need, regardless of where we are and what our status are, we all need Christ. We all need God, Yeah. And I like it. Of course, we met last year, at the Final Four.
Huh? Yeah, our relationship didn't start off well. And it's all your wife's fault, I'm telling you. I mean, I'm a man of God, so I have to be forgiving. But, this is not the way you show yourself friendly.
Yeah, go ahead. Explain a little further. Come on.
I mean, we came out there to the East Coast thinking we were going to get a little bit of that friendliness that you're supposed to get from the people of God. And the Shamrocks sent us home early, dropped the L on us. We came in there flying high, feeling good about ourselves and, coming in to represent and all the hype. And the Shamrock came in there and tore our hind up. I mean, we wasn't right the rest of the weekend. I think we went home thinking about the whooping that we took from the Shamrocks. But classy organization, dynamic leadership, on and off the court. I mean, there's nothing from Nikki to coach to your wife and all of them, just such dynamic leadership and great examples of what our league is about. So we couldn't have lost to a better team, but we don't plan on doing that again, just for the record.
Okay. Pastor Shannon, it was great, man. Overall, good competition.
Yes.
Everybody in the interview was saying when I interviewed the 4 teams, who's going to win the championship? And of course, every player and every coach said, we win in the championship,
right.
And there's only going to be one winner, in the end. But I think the thing of it was, I'm not that involved with the Shamrocks,
right?
That's my wife's my wife's baby, and so I haven't seen a bunch of practices. I haven't seen them play, none of those things, and so it was really, really exciting for me to come to Greensboro, and create that Final Four, atmosphere,
right?
And then to be able to do what I consider was, I haven't been live, like, everything because of the pandemic, everything was, StreamYard or,
right.
Streaming. And so it was really the first live interview.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. That I had, so that was exciting. And to hear, you kind of got me all hyped up, remembering, when I was competing in tournaments and stuff like that back in the day. And everybody's talking about, we're going to win the championship. We're going to win the championship and different things like that. And then seeing you guys get on the court and seeing, you always look at, okay, here, the WABA, it's the WABA. And then there's the product, the thing that makes it, that drives the WABA. And that's the players, the teams, and the players and the coaches and the ownership, and to see you guys just do extremely well was powerful. I mean, to see the competition, at a high level, right. When I look at the WNBA, I was like, yo, this is good. You know, very, very competitive, and you guys are taking this thing personal, so yeah, if you lose, you're going to be upset. I mean, of course,
let's talk about how great the WABA is and what we have become as a league. Of course, I'm a little biased to my team, but I think it's a great testament that coming into that tournament and you got to see all of the games, any one of those 4 teams could have been champions. I mean, at a point, we were watching the first game and it was like, is DC going to pull it out? You just don't know. Atlanta comes in and they look so strong. And then in moments, it's like, okay, well, maybe they can. Even in the championship game with you all, there was questions like, can they do it? There's no fall off. And we've got such great ladies. I'm talking about the ones that are on the court that are competing at a high level. And when you think about what we offer nationally, because once you get past the WNBA, we're the next biggest league. And if we had a little bit of their NBA money, we'd be even more substantial. But when you see these ladies that are competing nationally and internationally on a high stage, they are absolutely awesome. And there's no fall off from entertainment value of what you're going to enjoy in a game. I find myself watching a game and being a fan, even though it's my games, really feeling like a fan. Even at practice, sometime I'm cheering in practice, just enjoying seeing these ladies compete. So it's a great opportunity. I'm so big on what Marsha Blunt and Faith and Melissa and all of the leadership, Brian, what they do nationally to put this league together and make it so strong and so successful and have the high quality that we put forth week to week. It's fantastic. And every year it's gotten better and better.
That's right. Yeah. And you got Mama Z. So
thank you, Treese. I appreciate that. I mean, Mama Z is a special talent. Mama Z, what's special about Mama Z is she's one of those ones that you don't know she's going to kill you until you're dead. I mean, there's other girls on our team that are, very quick and athletic, and they're going and they're flashy. And you say, ooh, you got to watch out for this one. You got to watch out for Zoe. You got to watch out for T. You got to watch out for Nay. And then Mama Z ends up with the ball in her hand and it's over. And you're like, oh man, where did she come from? And, I was laughing because, we have a men's team also. And my men's coach came to a couple of the workouts and we were watching her. And I said, hey, man, I think we need to sign her. we need to sign her. She is such a dynamic, smart player. And had it not been for her, I don't know if you got to see this game, but in our regional playoff, Mama Z hit the buzzer beater to send us to the Final Four. So we were actually down 1 with seconds left, and she hit the buzzer beater to send us to the Final Four. I mean, she's that every day. So we're blessed to have her as a part of our.
I think I didn't see it. My wife was looking at it because we were driving.
Yes,
and I heard it. I heard it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, what's next? Oh no!" It just shifted so quick. And she hit the long shot. Oh yeah, that was exciting.
Yes, that felt like the March Madness all over again, right there. I mean, it was special. It was a great memory.
Yeah. And so, what does it look like this year? Is it better this year? I mean, the girls psyched up, the ladies psyched up about this year and getting back into it again.
Of course, we all say this as coaches and owners and so forth, but our ladies are stronger than we were last year. They're a little closer. They got a little bit of sour taste in their mouth that they're trying to work out. But we made a couple of new additions that are going to make us stronger. I won't scoop all of that, but there's a couple of young ladies that we got that are fresh out of college, young legs that are really athletic, and I think that's going to help us to keep up against some of the stronger teams that we'll face on a national level. But our region, there's no gimmies in our region. I mean, I don't know what it's like for everybody else, but we have Michigan, which we split the series with them last season. And again, we're, one missed shot away from a different narrative. But Western Michigan is always tough, always talented, well coached. Cincinnati Reign, we split the series with them last season. And, and again, it was just a matter of who's playing well on that day and who makes the best adjustments on that day. And they've got a fantastic coach that's always testing the limits on what we do. And then we got a new team in Rockford, Illinois, that is also looking very tough. I've just been kind of spying out a few things that they're doing and checking out some workouts and things. And they look like quality talent. So, I can't assume anything. There's no automatic bid for us. For sure, any of those teams can be successful. Any of those teams can represent us in Atlanta come September. So we just got to see how it goes and hope that we're ready for the challenge. Yeah,
and just a couple more questions, real quick. When you look at some of the what the purpose of the team, besides just playing basketball game, talk about opportunities, in terms of what your mission is for the young ladies, and did some of them achieve some of those opportunities that they was looking forward to, like going overseas, or just talk a little bit about how the team helps them navigate through all these things.
Well, let's get down to it, and I hope I don't sound offensive, but let's just talk real talk. The WNBA has 12 teams. Mm-hmm. Those 12 teams have 14 ladies on them. So when you get past those 150 women that are there, where else do the hundreds and thousands of talented women in the United States go to play basketball on a high level? And we all saw as a nation how Brittany Griner, one of the top players in professional basketball, period, is overseas in Russia, of all places, trying to make a career in basketball because what she's able to do in the United States is limited. So she's over trying to supplement that by being in Russia and potentially, going through the things that she went through just because she had to be in Russia trying to make it happen. So when the WABA comes along and we give you quality basketball opportunities, not just to advance your career, but to have a career here, to have a stage where you can play, maybe make $1 or $2. You're not making Russia money, you're not making China money, but you can make $1 or $2 and you can have success in your hometown, in your home country, and get around and compete on a high level and continue your career. That's a great task that the owners of the WABA make happen every week. And you know firsthand that it's not because we're getting big ESPN money or we're getting those major endorsements. These are things that families are putting together and making it happen for women across this country to give them an opportunity to advance their career. And I think that's absolutely amazing at its core level. And then for the few ladies, I mean, I know last year, I didn't get the numbers from this past season, but a year back, we had like 45 ladies that were able to go overseas and to continue and play their career overseas and have that experience because of this platform, because they were noted on this platform, because they were able to have success on a high level here. And so, again, the ownership of the WABA, my colleagues that are making it happen out of our grassroots efforts to create an opportunity for women to have a success and to compete in this league, which is really tops across. I'll put us next to anybody on the operation of this league. And the only difference between us and others is the amount of financial resources that are pumped into that league. And so we're excited about the opportunity to be a part of that and changing these young ladies' lives and giving them the opportunity that they wouldn't have in many cases if it wasn't for our great owners across the country.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it. And I got one final question for you.
Sure.
Right. As we come
Midwest
up on
Sound win it all. Oh, that wasn't the question. I'm sorry.
I wasn't gonna put you on the line like that. I wasn't gonna put you on the line like that.
Boss is coming in. Wait a minute. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I don't want no trouble.
Wait. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? I'm just saying. Who's gonna win?
I had to say it with my chest. I didn't want to seem like I wasn't ready. This is being played public. I wanted to go on the record.
Oh man.
We ready. I said we ready.
Hey, if we stay ready, we don't have to get ready.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, as Lo says, I really enjoyed myself in the championship weekend. And listen, what people don't know is that we were down there during a hurricane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we made this thing happen in a hurricane.
Right.
People have no idea the stuff
changing venues and all of that. Yes.
We had to go through and playing double games because we had to, and that was our issue because we actually had to play 2 games against you all and then come behind and play Atlanta, and Atlanta was rested and good.
Right.
You can't play
and
Atlanta.
Deep.
You cannot play
and
Atlanta.
Deep. Yeah, they were deep too.
They were deep, rested, and we were like, oh, this is going, and just to be able to hang in there to the second half, to the beginning of the second half, and then all of a sudden the horses came out.
and it was yeah. I tell you what was more, the tournament was marvelous. I mean, I had a great time and I enjoyed it. But that All-Star game, man, the All-Star, I didn't know how these young ladies had the energy to play a Final Four, and then get to the All-Star game and perform like they didn't play. I mean, they played that All-Star game like they were well rested. They were entertaining. I mean, it was entertaining, man. I was like, oh, them girls are balling out there. Them ladies are balling.
It felt like a tennis match.
Yeah, it was going back and forth, threes.
It kept going like this and like this and like this and like this. And I said, wow, this is really amazing. And we, I think for us, it was just really a blessing to be able to be a part. I already made my reservations to go and for this year. And it's not to go for this year because we already assume that we're going to win it all, which everybody wants to do. But because it was so much fun, it's worth the trip. And plus, we enjoyed doing the blueprint.
Right.
We did the blueprint on there, so that and we filmed every game.
Right.
And that was
I'm hoping
amazing.
you'll be there again this year, right? We're gonna
we're gonna be there this year, and then
we'll be better prepared this year than last year.
Yeah, and the thing I like too, man, was to see, you got 2 pastors here, being a part of this sports ministry. Powerful, man. I mean, to see, and one day we're gonna find a person owner WNBA. We already got ABA owners who are in the faith. We're looking to get in the faith in the WNBA and the NBA and
Let's
NFL football. We looking for ownership in Major League Baseball. We deserve to be there too.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
So I want to
Before
say,
we go off, Lowe's, I just want to show just a couple of things from who our MVPs were and everything that we have for the league, because I think it's just important. So Chancey Dunn was the finals MVP, and she really put it to us in in the championship round. Our player of the year was from the Shamrocks, Nikki Avery. She was one of our players. She was really entertaining. The champions were the Atlanta team and the Atlanta Angels. Then they were a class organization. The All-Star MVP was Michaela Watson, and she was awesome. As you said, she couldn't miss a shot if she wanted to. The team of the year was the Atlanta Angels, and they had it going on. I believe their owner was a former WNBA player, and she knew exactly how to put her team together. The three-point champion was Jocelyn Denkins, and she did a great job as well. And our coach of the year was Coach Munch, and he's also a Shamrock coach. And our defensive player of the year was Jasmine McIntosh, also with the Atlanta Angels. And the community service award went to Greensboro Chaos, and that's where we played. So that is the WNBA in a very strong nutshell. And as Dee Dee said, they were in beast mode. Beast mode. Coach, Pastor talk about coming for the Shamrocks. We all need to be coming for Atlanta. Right. They're the team to beat.
Truth be told. Truth be told.
Yeah. So I got one final question. Thank you, my dear.
Yes. Thank you to my pastor friend, because I listen to him sometimes when he's preaching, because he got 2 churches or 3 churches. He juggling basketball and pastoring multiple churches. So he got it going on.
Help.
Well, we got
great help.
I'm gonna have to introduce you. You're in
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Well, we're going to bring Pastor Marvin on here before you get off here. Introduce you to Pastor Marvin. Pastor Marvin's down there, and he's in Jersey.
Okay.
He's out of Jersey, and of course he's a pastor. And of course, he coached basketball as well. So we're going to be talking about here in a minute. But I want to ask you this last question, Pastor Cannon. As we are coming up on Father's Day, and we don't get a whole lot of recognition. As we come up on Father's Day, man, talk to me about the importance, particularly in being in your church, the things that men are dealing with, things that young men are dealing with, and how do we help our young men transition into from boys to men into having a desire to one day find their soulmate, to get married, to be willing fathers, husbands and fathers. Talk to me about that a little bit, because I'm going to talk to Pastor Marvin about that.
Awesome. I'm going to listen in because I want to get all that good wisdom.
And we coming on, and I want to say Happy Father's Day to everybody. So,
Happy Father's Day.
I'll say this. The number one thing that we have to do that we have not done very well is be present. Sometimes we think we have to be good, and the key is not always being a great dad. It's just being present, whether for our natural children, our spiritual children, somebody else's children, all of that being the case. I'm actually working on a book, free plug, right now, that's called I Always Wanted to Be a Son and a Better Daddy. Wow. And talking about how important it is to have that father, especially father-son relationship. And in my research, I found out something that was very interesting. Sometimes people have said, well, we don't need him because he's not good enough, or he hasn't done a good job. So the mother and the children say they'll go on by themselves. But statistically, it actually showed that families and the children in those families did better in school if the dad was present, even if he wasn't good. Of course, not in an abusive situation, But in a situation where he was actually present, we found that less of those children got into criminal situations. They had better grades. They had less mental health issues. They were overall better adjusted. There was no category statistically where the children were better off without the dad being there. And so sometimes we may have believed that maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I have issues and our children are better off without us. And that's just the biggest lie that the devil has told. You know, and it's important to all of us as men out there, whether it's with our own children or whether it's with somebody else's children, and being a proxy in their lives. Be present, make yourself available. It's not always how good you are, but can you play catch? You know, can you read a book? Can you go to a movie? Can you just walk around the park? Because that time that you spend with them is going to be the most invaluable. And I'll give this nugget. It's in the book, but it's my own personal experience, because my dad and I early in life, we weren't together. And this was me playing baseball. And you all are athletes, you know how it is when we used to run laps. You know, there was the athletic lap, and then there was the cool lap, you know, where you just kind of trot along like, I don't have to do this. I'm cool running the laps.
Yeah.
I was a pretty good baseball player. I'm third generation baseball. I was playing center field, and I was showing off for my dad because he was there. You know, it was one of those rare times that he was there. And I mean, I was running stuff down like Willie McGee. You know, I was making plays, throwing them out at the plate. I was jamming. And when I got through and I got in the car, the only thing my dad talked about was how I ran my laps.
Wow.
And he said, what was that you were doing? I was like, I made good plays. I was good. I hit the ball. I caught the ball. I stole bases. I did all of that. He said, but your laps, you came in last on the laps. Wow. And he said, never, ever, ever let anybody beat you on laps again. I was 12, brothers. I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And he said, never let anybody beat you on the laps again. And if anybody beats you, they better have their tongue hanging out, because you're on their heels trying so hard to catch them. Not only did I never come in last on the laps again, but in college, when I was playing college football, I was still being first on my laps. I was still first on the running, because it was ingrained from that one conversation from my dad. It changed my worldview. And see, you might say, well, he's not there, or he didn't pay the bills, or he didn't, you know, show up for whatever. But that one conversation made a difference. And I'm better today because I had that one conversation with him. So I encourage you all, wherever we are, it doesn't matter how long you haven't been there or whatever you've done right or wrong, be present. Make yourself available in your children's lives, your grandchildren's lives, your nephews and nieces' lives, wherever you can make an impact, be present. And that's my drop the mic.
Yes, you did. You can just drop that mic. You just dropped that mic. Yeah, we agree with you. Pastor Marvin and I are both a part of the King movement. I don't know if you heard of the King movement with Chris Broussard. It's a national Christian men's movement. And yeah, we those things that you are talking about, Chris Broussard is, you know, pushing for men to be, you know, biblical men, right? You know, people are pushing, you know, we're pushing men and trying to fellowship with men and bring them back into, you know, back into fellowship, back into the churches. You know, I think it's like, I don't know how many chapters we have across the country.
I think it's about 20 lows.
Yeah, about 20.
I think it's about 20 or something like that. I think it's about 20. I could be off a few numbers, but I think it's about that.
Yeah.
It's Atlanta, you got Charlotte.
Maybe we can.
We need to link up, Pastor Cannon, because actually Pastor Brian hit me with something yesterday. I guess they're trying to revamp, and I'm a part of the recruiting other pastors to be a part of it. That's my assignment.
Okay.
working with Chris and Dr. Joseph Bryant, who's the vice president. And he just sent me something yesterday saying he's going to link up with me this week because they're trying to revamp the fellowship with the pastors. So let's try. Lowe's, make sure he gets my information.
Yeah.
We can go from there. My information, my number, my email. And then once you do that, you email me, text me. I'll link up with you. Make sure you get the information.
Yeah, because you're in St. Louis, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, St. Louis. I know we was in Memphis, definitely in Memphis, Cleveland, San Antonio, LA, Detroit, Cleveland, New York, New Jersey,
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That'd be cool, man.
Let's make it happen. That sounds
Pastor
great.
Cannon.
No, that's what I said. Let's make it happen.
Pastor Cannon, good luck this year, man.
Thank you, brother. Y'all stay out of my way. I appreciate it. Good luck to you all. Be blessed. Thank you again.
Be blessed, man. Happy Father's Day, man.
Happy Father's Day
to you both. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I'll tell Marsha you represented her well.
Thank you. I did my best. I looked at my bonus check in the mail.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Pastor. Pastor Marvin. What's
going
up, man?
on? What's going on, Elder Lowe's Moore?
You guys are pitch hitting. You guys are pitch hitting. Yeah, I had brother Richard Dauphin. Young man, just amazing in regards to the Christian rap game. I mean, he's really putting it out, and you need strong, young, faithful men of God.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and he was coming on this evening, and we're praying for his family emergency. And I'm sure I'll have him back on, man. But yeah, I was always looking forward to interviewing particularly young men and finding out where they are in their faith, because one of the things when I took over, when I started the King movement, Chris asked me what my goals were in regards to the King movement. And I said I wanted that my presidency or the chair of this would be short, right? And that I could find some young men like Donald in New York, and across the country. I would have to say that when you look at the King movement, you look at the numbers, and sometimes we're on the call, we're on the the Zoom call, a couple of hundred men, and then you can look on there and see that somebody asked me the other day about it, was probably almost 60% of the men are probably 40 and younger, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, the older jacks are starting to, to come around and getting in, but Chris has done a good job with getting young men of God.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And a lot of them came in on, matter of fact, even Detroit. I think they're another one that showed up pretty big in that summit.
Well, yeah, and then in Philadelphia, Pastor Weiler, right? His church, his men were older. They had about 40 guys. Right. 40 guys that joined. They were the older guys who joined. So that's why I said those numbers probably rose with the older men, to compare to the young men. And I think for myself and you, the whole rap game during the summit, everybody enjoys. Everybody at one time thought they was a rapper. I mean, Chris thought he was a rapper back in the day. He's getting up rapping. But when young guys, I could see the faces of some young teenagers that was in the building during the summit, and when they did the rap concert, and the guys were spitting and all that kind of stuff like that, and then seeing Rit, seeing what's his name, Chris, seeing Chris and all them, and Chris and Donald and all them guys, you know, spitting and everything, man. And then relationships, you know, the brotherhood, the fellowship, the brotherhood, the relationship between the ages is really powerful, man. And you know, I really enjoy that, you know, spending time you know, with you guys and
No, that was
trying,
awesome. That was an
yeah,
awesome time.
yeah, and then trying to help you know, help more men. Answer me this question, because when I was doing doing the King movement, and then before that doing the Peacekeepers, particularly in my neighborhood, there, what I found when I was on, because you know, Pastor Cannon was talking about something that was so powerful and so important, and was the mission of the Peacekeepers, which is a national organization at one time, on the streets in the bright orange, say Peacekeepers, and one of our main things was to be present. I mean, and so we had 21 straight deaths of young black males in the city of Mount Vernon at that particular time. And we ended up with the Peacekeepers, 270 men, right? And the real key was to be present, you know, and the use of the scripture when Jesus said to his disciples, couldn't you just pray with me just 1 hour?
Yeah.
Right. And that was the model that we took to the streets, to be present for the 1 hour. Right. And, you know, to be present as men of God, to sow the seed of love.
Amen.
Right. Yeah. And it was so crazy because you're dealing with all the gangs. And so we would come out for that hour and be present. And then, you know, those guys would leave. After a while, they just started leaving. Right. The longer we stood out there, the longer they would leave. And then more people would come out of their housing and walk the street because they felt comfortable because we were present.
Yeah. Important.
You know, yeah. So talk, you know, as we come again, you know, on, and, you know, you coach basketball, you know, and so talk about what your thoughts are around as a pastor. And we're coming up on Father's Day, and you know, I mean, because I've heard some disturbing news, you know, recently, and you know, that bothered me a lot.
Wow.
That
Man.
you know, young kids are having children. Young men are having children, but not being responsible as fathers, you know, and so talk a little bit about that in terms of your thoughts.
Wow. Well, we know. I mean, it's easy to make a baby. I mean, you lay down with somebody, and that's that possibility with no protection. And now with the social media, it's so crazy, Lowe's, because, you know, it's interesting. I was having a conversation last night with two young ladies. You know, I do Uber. So every time I get an opportunity, I kind of talk to folks, see where they at. I had these two young ladies, 25, 27. And we started talking about relationships. Neither one of them, both of them are single, 25, 27. And they said they're not settling. And they said, these guys just, you know, and the big problem is kind of going, nobody wants to build anything, Lowe's. Nobody wants to build anything. Or the younger men now are looking, they want to build their finances. So they want to be better paired financially. And our time, it was like, I like you, you like me. We both ain't probably got much, but we know we like each other, we love each other. The best thing to do is we're going to get married, we're going to build together. Well, that time is kind of past. And the social media, the other thing they bring is, I don't have to be committed to one because I can have many or more than one. So now it's like, why should I have one? And this is what the guys are saying in those 20s and early 30s. I don't need one. All I can do is go on social media and I can have more than one. So there's no responsibility, no commitment. I can just run loose, run wild. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. And even what you're saying with fatherhood. Well, what did I see growing up? If I didn't see it, how do I be what I didn't see? And you can be what you didn't see, because I didn't have a father figure in my life. My father wasn't there. Met my father for the first time when I was a freshman in high school. I think I may have told you the story. I'm not sure. I met my father the first time. I laid eyes on him when I was a freshman in high school. I'd never seen him again. So now people ask me, I have 2 daughters. How did you become a good father? I made up in my mind that whatever my father didn't give me, I was going to make sure when I had children, I was going to give them that. And I wasn't going to feel like some men feel like I'm angry. I wasn't angry. I wasn't mad. I mean, I would actually want to I wonder what my father looked like. If I ran into him, I wouldn't have known him. So that was going on in my mind before I finally met him. And the only reason why I did go meet him, Lowe's, is my sister. She's like, look, it's not about him. It's really about you. And I said, well, what do you mean? She says, you need the same for you, so that can clear your conscience of what he looks like. And, and that's all. I just laid eyes on him. We didn't exchange words. My other brothers and sisters, they were there. He talked to them more, and I just looked at him. And I'm like, all right, this is my dad. And that was it. And I just thank God to this day, Lowe's, that I know with my girls, I try to give them the best of everything I have. And even when I fall short, I still try to give them the best that I have. And set a great example of what a man looks like, what a father looks like. And I think the blessed thing is being present, being available, being there for them, and letting them know that they're loved. And that's how I let my girls know. They know they're loved. They know since they were young, I still give them Valentine's Day gifts, Lowe's.
Oh, nice.
They can expect that from me every Valentine's Day. And they're 33. My oldest will be 33, June 14th. My youngest just turned 25. And they still look forward to it. They still look forward to it, man. So, you just try to set a great example of what they got to look forward to. I still get their car doors because I want them to show whoever comes into your life, they gotta, make sure they do these things. So
yeah, and it is challenging, man, because I have 4 kids, and so my 2 oldest are my girls, and both of them are now married. Both of them now married. Good husband.
See, Lowe's, you got married daughters. Neither one of my daughters are married. Youngest is dating. Oldest, it's been tough. Now she's, once you start making money, you gotta come correct. She's doing well. She works for Robin Hood, assistant general counsel, data privacy. So she's doing very well for herself. But so guy coming and the thing is it's not the big thing of money. It's a big thing of somebody just coming correct, treating them right. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes that can be intimidating for guys.
Yeah.
Or they try to control. And I'm like, no, you don't need nobody to control you. You need somebody that you're going to build together and have Christ as your foundation. So that's most important. Have Christ as your foundation. Make sure they love God. They love God. Then y'all build together and be committed to one another. And that word is kind of like throwing out the window now, man. Commitment. What's commitment? And, and sacrifice. So you was talking about your daughter's married. Sacrifice. Where do sacrifice? Now, I'm married. It's sacrifices. I can't do what I used to do. I can't hang out with the boys like I used to. Now I got a responsibility. I got a responsibility to my wife. And if you got children, you got responsibility to them. So I can't just go when I want to because I have a responsibility. I've made this responsibility happen. I agreed to this responsibility. So sometimes people don't, they agree to it. They agree to a word, but when it comes to actions, they don't want to do it. And I'm keeping it real because it's that's true. I can have the kids, I can have the wife, but I'm gonna go when I want to. Well, you ain't signed up for that. It's sacrifice, man, and you got to make those sacrifices and be responsible. I got a family now, so I can't do those things that I used to do. Fatherhood is huge, man. Fatherhood is huge. I just thank God for men that came along in my life, like my junior high basketball coach. To this day, we're like this, man. And that was like the father figure to me, man. I had his number. I could call him up, talk to him whenever I want to, talk to him about life, talk to him about things. So, I mean, that was a blessing. That was junior high, man. And that junior high, you can go either way, man. So that was pivotal in my life for him to come in, not only the X's and O's, but life. And that's what I tried to do as a coach, Lowe's. Teach them, because, it's bigger than X's and O's when you're coaching these kids. It's teaching them life. It's listening to what they're going through. And that's another big thing. We was talking about presence, but I think another big thing is listening to what they have to say. Because sometimes we don't listen. We trying to give them our advice or what we think they should be doing. But sometimes just taking time out to just listen to what they have to say. And then once they say what they have to say, then we can go to work. But I think so many times we already have projections of what we want to say to them that we miss what they're trying to say or what they've been through or what their experiences are. And, and I think more now I'm trying to listen to the young folks and trying to hear what they have to say and then chime in and give them advice on what they're saying and how to navigate them. And have they considered this or have you thought about this? I hear what you're saying, but have you thought about this? Have you thought about doing like this? Have you thought about if you do this, the consequences? So,
right. Yeah, and I think Pastor Cannon's still here too as well. I think he's in the background there. I mean, for you guys being pastors, right?
Yes.
You guys being pastors, and I mean, I don't know if it's happening in your church, in your churches, but what's your thoughts on how you? I mean, how well are you doing in regards to your men in the church coming into the church, sustaining them, or do you see it as a problem? With getting men into the church today.
I think when they know that you're honest and you're true, and dealing with them from truth and being honest with them, I think they see that. I mean, I got a good, strong presence of men that go to my church, younger and older, but we got a good relationship. And the thing is our women know that there's some men there, so they ain't trying to. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get the woman that's trying to bogart and say, we here. No, they know we got a strong men presence and we showing up and we doing what we need to do as men. And, so it's important that men see men standing strong and doing what we need to do as men, and when you have strong men in the church, it's so important, Lowe's. It's so important because it's like we were talking about earlier when you was talking about Pastor Cannon, a presence. When you got a strong man figure in your church, man, that presence is powerful.
And Graham, they checking for that when they come in.
Yes.
They're checking in.
Yes.
Real men. I don't mean that in a sexist way, but real men are looking to see what kind of dude are you. You know what kind of guys do you have in here, and probably where we're struggling the most. With having men in our churches is because we don't have men in our churches. When men come in and they see it that, hey, we're on a level, we can relate with the brothers that are here. That's where that fellowship becomes strong. And that's hard to do in some cases because in a lot of cases you don't have that representation. So it's hard to bring the men in because it's not conducive to man fellowship. We say hairy-chested men in our church. We say we got some hairy-chested men, and we beat our chest like, hey, and I even find myself, and I'm very intentional about it, to be honest. We actually compete with the women on having more men in church than women in the church. I'm verbalizing it because I want them to know it's important. I'm verbalizing it so I wanted to stay focused on their mind because even where the men aren't as present in number, they're still having an influence. And so where those children are at home or those women go home, you can preach as good as you want to preach. And they go home and they talk to Johnny and Leroy and them, and everything that you said just went out the window. Because they want to please Johnny and they want to please Leroy and Tony and them. you know, and so, you know, if you can have an influence on the lives of those men, then you're going to anchor that family spiritually, just by having them, even if they don't attend church as often, just having the connection with you and with the body of Christ, it's going to anchor those families in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Because I just find it, you know, as we come up on Father's Day, right, and to see so many, not just young men, right, but young women, with absentee fathers. I mean, it's just incredible, and to see the impact that it has. I mean, Pastor Cannon mentioned it earlier, how it impacts school, your mindset, how you think. You know, all those things are, you know, a detrimental when you don't have a presence of a real father, you know, in the house. I hear it all. I hear so much. And there's a lot of things in June. I mean, you know, June is not a dedicated month to
Lowe's. I seen two men kissing yesterday, and I'm like, I'm just keeping it real, man. I seen two men kissing, and I'm like, what? And you know, and like you said, it's all over the place now. This Pride Month, that stuff was crazy yesterday, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But
I mean, all I'm saying, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and it's challenging. I mean, it's challenging, you know, but you know, we want to encourage our young men. And we want to encourage our men, particularly men that have children.
Yes.
Right. You know, I'll never forget the time I was invited to prison in Delaware with a couple of friends of mine, and you know, he went to preach, you know, and I went to share my testimony, and you know, I was wondering, like, hey, where's all the black men? And when I walked in the prisons, and I visited, I think we visited like 3 prisons, and it was loaded with black men. And you know what? They were in church, in prison. I mean, the chapel was packed when we went in there, you know, and they was singing. You know, they could have been singing probably, you know, in your church, outside those walls, but hey, whatever got them in trouble, they were praising God inside, you know. And it, you know, my challenge to them was, you know, while you're here, right, and you have children, right, you don't want them to be here with you. Right. And even though you may not have a relationship, you know, with the mother, I would be trying to establish a relationship with the mother so I can be a part of my son's life and make sure that they don't come into, you know, into this space. Right. And so I was challenging them to write letters, to make calls, and you know, ask for forgiveness. I mean, have you thought about asking for forgiveness for the mother and for your son, and playing a part and keeping them from coming into the space you're in right now, you know, and because, you know, the kids on the outside look at their dad in there, and I had this conversation with a lot of young men at the Boys and Girls Club, you know, when I was the executive director. A lot of they wore their dad being in prison as a badge of honor. They were like, "Oh, my dad's in prison," and they was walking around bullying people like, you know, if my dad can make it there, man, you know, I can make it there. And the worst thing I had was to have a young man end up in the same prison that his father was in. You know, that was a sad moment, because that's how he thought. He thought like, man, if I can go where my dad is, he gonna be proud of me. You know, and so I mean, even though we're coming up on, we salute those fathers, right, who have been committed fathers as husbands, to their wives and committed to raising their children. We honor them. You know, that's a beautiful thing. We just want more, right? I'm selfish, right? I'm selfish. I just want more fathers to, you know, be connected to their children. You know,
and I think, Lowe's, what you're doing is that's being engaged, and I think all three of us probably agree with that we got to be engaged. We got to be
yeah,
engaged with those men, with those younger men. It's being engaged and being involved and getting every opportunity to talk to them, see where they at, setting those platforms.
yeah,
Because it's important, man. It's important.
yeah. And there are a lot of challenges. I'll never forget. If I could say something about people, regardless of what they've chosen in their life,
Yeah.
right? And I think that I would say that Christ would be the same. Is that we have to learn how to love people.
No doubt.
And in spite of whatever the choices,
Yeah.
we've got to learn to love people.
Yeah.
We can't change people.
No.
But we can definitely, because if God is love, our response to people should be love. We should learn to genuinely, authentically love people. And being a part of the Boys and Girls Club, right, was pretty interesting for me because I've seen the changes. I've seen the changes over the years where, the Boys and Girls Clubs became more diverse and nationally, the whole program became more diverse. And then you had to learn to respect people, man. And so regardless of a kid walking through that door, my whole focus was, look, you're here to do this in the Boys and Girls Club. And regardless of what you have chosen, right? Yes. You're not here to find your boyfriend, your girlfriend. You're here to participate in the programs. Right. And what I want for you, right, is I want for everybody else. So if I'm going to ask everybody, man, how are you doing in school? What's your grades like? Man, how's everything going? Right? What's your future look like for you? Right? Do you plan on graduating? Where are you at with that? Are you going to college? Right? What happens after high school? And I wanted that for every kid in the Boys and Girls Club, regardless of what their choice is. My responsibility was to love and respect people. No. Right. And because that's what God asked of me, is to love. Right. And so that's what I did, and that's what I still do. Right. And because I can't change nobody. I mean, I can love people.
Yeah.
So I want to, as we come to a close, man, I want to give you a chance to, as you going into this Father's Day, man. I know what I did on Mother's Day. So I'm not looking for something to be reciprocated, right? But I can tell you for Mother's Day, man, literally me and my sons, we went all out on Mother's Day. I mean, literally, cooked some stuff, bought some stuff, right. Did it up nice. What's your expectation, man? What do you think for Father's Day, man? What do you think?
Expectation. This to hear from my daughters. Whatever they do, they do. But I just love them giving me feedback and telling me. As a matter of fact, even my birthday was June the 4th. I felt like June the 4th was Father's Day because they were giving me a message like, Dad, you've been this, or you've done this, and you've been right there for us. So I felt like my Father's Day came early. So whatever I get on Father's Day is going to be like a double dose.
Yeah, and Pastor Cannon, man, you got more daughters, man, because when you you got a team full of women there, man. Right. Yeah, man. So you got more daughters than all of us right now.
Well, my sock game is gonna be tight. I'm gonna be
or some more ties.
I've been cleaning out the tie drawer and the sock drawer. I'm getting ready for increase, brothers. Increase is coming.
Hey, Pastor Cannon, increase on some ties and some socks.
That's it.
Oh man!
I might get to eat. I might get to eat too. So I'm hoping for that. But I think
yeah, my wife almost got started this week. She's like, "Hey, you want some?" I said, "No." She said, "Oh yeah, Father's Day next week."
Hey, Lowe's, tell us early. You'll take a double dose.
I would. I would take a double dose.
Don't hold back now.
That's right. Hey, I went in. I don't know why, man. I waited till the last minute, but I realized I wanted to give, not just my wife some cards, but I get my mother a card, my daughters. Yeah. I go in there, man. I'm looking at scraps, man. I mean, like 2 weeks before, I'm looking at scraps. But man, you're gonna find a Father's Day card on Father's Day. You gonna find one.
Whatever color you want. Whatever.
It's gonna be good though. It's gonna be good. So man, I want to thank you guys. You were saying something, Pastor?
No, I just said it's a thankless job, but it's vital. We make it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
No, it is, man. It is. I mean, we just got to keep impacting, man. And I'll say the greatest, again, the greatest legacy we can leave, man, is just continue to be present, to be there for our children, man. And not only our children, but others.
Yeah. We don't have the privilege of focusing just on ours.
Yeah.
So again, I want to thank you guys for pitch hitting tonight. Hey man, maybe this is the way God intended it. Sometimes that's how it works, man. And you just go with the flow. You make the adjustments and keep rolling.
Absolutely.
But again, thank you, man.
It's my pleasure, Lowe's.
Thanks a lot, man.
Pleasure,
appreciate
man.
you guys.
Pastor Cannon, nice meeting you. I'm looking forward to us connecting.
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm gonna close out now. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming on and supporting the Blueprint podcast each and every week. Man, I love you guys, man. And next week, man, next week, we're having a special Father's Day. Father's weekend. I got to make it a whole weekend now. Father's Day weekend. I'm doing a special Saturday morning Father's Day, so we won't mess up our Father's Day. On Saturday morning from 9 to 10:30, I'm gonna have a special podcast. Man, I look forward to hearing from you guys next week, man. And each and every week I said, you hear me say it. If God allow you to wake up tomorrow, make tomorrow your masterpiece. I love you and God bless you. And I look forward to seeing you next Saturday morning.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the Blueprint Podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.
What they teaching is a joke. I ain't buying it like I'm broke. Insufficient funds for insignificant.